the chop time. So they can just find that right on YouTube. And we got 1 minute to go before Mandy joins us. Mandy's Wilder. She's a doll baby. Met her at the conference in Utah last year, and we're really excited to have her. So, all right, Mandy, are you here?
I'm here.
Well, it's so wonderful to talk to you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing really, really well. We're excited to have you with us today. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there is the precious Wilder. Look at that doll baby. She's so cute. She's just such a cutie. So I am going to just let you talk about your journey from the moment you heard those 3 awful letters to your entire journey with CDH to what puts you right before us today. So tell us all about it.
So Wilder was undiagnosed. So we had anatomy scans at 21 weeks and 24 weeks, and there was no present sign of CDH. So I went on to be 41 weeks pregnant, not thinking anything different. When I went in for my appointment that day, she was breech. So we did have a last minute cesarean that day. And when she came out, she wasn't breathing. She was gasping and trying to breathe, but not breathing. So they took her off into the nursery at our hospital. Our hospital is very small. There's no pediatric unit. There's an on-call pediatrician, but there's no NICU, there's no neonatologist, there's no doctors like that. So they did some x-rays and they sent them to the closest NICU, which was 2 hours away. 3 different doctors agreed that it looked like meconium in her lungs, and they sent her to that hospital, which was about 5 hours after she was born. By that time, she was already intubated and on an oscillator because they were in fear that her lungs would collapse and not be able to reopen. And they got to the other hospital in Billings, and they did an echo, and they noticed that the heart and lungs were pushed over due to the CDH. So they called my husband in. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and said, we need to send her to Denver now. And Denver got their flight team ready, got her, tried to get her ready to fly to Denver, and they just couldn't get her stabilized. It was about 4 to 5 hours before they got her stable and were ready to fly her to Denver. And then she got to Children's Hospital of Denver. She was almost exactly 24 hours old when she got to the hospital. And she was then in Denver for 70 days after she was born. She had her repair on day 4, and the last 3 weeks we worked on feeding issues. She just self-regulates from her oral aversion. So right before we left, we had a G-tube placed as well in her journey there. But the organs that she had up, she had a small hole, but a lot of things went up. So she had her stomach, spleen, intestines, bowel, and colon were all up for her. She does have a smaller left lung. Our surgeon said a decent sized lung, but it's definitely not a full-sized lung. So it did happen sometime after my 24-week anatomy scan, because they went back over them and all those organs were down at that point. So.
Wow. Okay. And sorry, having a little bit of delay in my hearing. So if how's she doing now?
Now she is doing well. She came off oxygen in September. So she's been off oxygen for a few months now. She is still 90% G-tube fed. She does a lot of finger foods. She does still have some torticollis, so just she's really tight on one side. And a little bit of high tone in her legs, just from being hospitalized. So we do occupational therapy / feeding therapy twice a week. We see her pulmonologist every 6 months right now. And we'll see her cardiologist tomorrow. And then we go to the CDH clinic in Denver once a year. And while we're down there, we're also going to see a GI doctor and do their feeding clinic as well.
Well, she looks great. She's grown so much since we saw her at the conference in Utah. And she's just a doll. She's so cute. And having a little bit of hearing issues. I'm not hearing you fully. But now, can you tell us, because I know that you bonded very closely with other CDH parents in the hospital, and can you tell the public how important it is? The people who've never heard about CDH, who don't understand, or just now learning about this journey, can you explain to them what it's like to find other people who are going through the same thing, and how important it is to have that support?
So when we were in the NICU, Wilder was almost a month old, and one of our nurses, our primary nurses, knew that in the next hallway was a CDH family looking to connect with other CDH parents. In Denver, that's a very high-level NICU, so it's hard to tell which families are CDH or what that child might have. So she got the Stevenson's phone number, and I texted them, and I met them the day before their little guy had his repair, and I feel like it was good for them to kind of see the other side of where we were at, because I think it gives you a lot of hope, and I think just knowing other families is such a comfort, especially now, the families that we know that have survivors that you're able to ask questions to, that can relate to what you're going through, or just offer you support in ways that maybe your other friends or family members can't, because they just don't understand the issues, like the feeding issues, or why they're still on oxygen, or there's just a lot that what you've been through that is the same, even though it can be very, very different for each family. And meeting them while we were in the NICU, I think, was so critical for both of us, because we're very close now, and our kids are able to grow up together. And we both of our kiddos have older siblings, and they'll have that time to be like, well, I kind of remember this about the NICU, or I remember that, or this about their journey, and they'll have that bond as well. So I'm very, very thankful for the people that we've met in the NICU and for the families that we've met through charities as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. If there was something that you could tell a newly diagnosed parent, something that you weren't told, some guidance that you wish you had known, what would that be? What would be that advice if a new parent asks you, what do I do? My child's just been diagnosed. I know that's a big question to answer in a few minutes. I'm sorry.
That these babies are so much stronger than you could ever give them credit for. That they will fight and fight and fight, to not give up. That each day you can have a really good day, and then you can have a really bad day, and then you could have a couple of good days and maybe a bad day. But you can't let those bad days dictate your hope for your child. You just kind of have to take those bad days as they come and just kind of bask in the good days as well, because those good day moments, those times where they're healthy and you can hold them, or they're doing better and they look like a real baby, are precious to hold on to while you're going through that journey.
Thank you. That is great advice. Now, you were at our CDH conference in Utah, and Wilder was tiny. She was so tiny then. And thank you for letting me hold her. I love holding the babies, so that was wonderful. But can you tell the other families who have never been to a conference, who've never had that experience, what you took from that? If you would recommend that they go, and how that has helped you or changed your outlook on what life with CDH is like. I know I'm throwing big questions at you on the fly. I'm sorry. You're doing great, Mandy.
I think the conference was great. I traveled with a 3-month-old, so that who was on oxygen and a feeding tube, and drove 6 hours. So that was maybe a little crazy on my part, but we did.
But you did it.
I think it was good to put an actual person that you meet to the names that you see a lot on these boards or on the charity, or people that have reached out to you. And I think that's just nice to have that very personal interaction and contact. I think for me, I really enjoyed the conference because I didn't have that time that some parents have when you're diagnosed early, or even last minute on the information that you get. And I had 70 days in the NICU to learn as much as I possibly could, and continuing that after we were home about side effects that might happen, or what reherniation looks like, or just different things that the kids could go through. But I feel like there's so much knowledge that's given at the conference from the different doctors that speak, or people from the DREAM study who's talking about their findings, and there's a lot of information that you just don't find through Google searches. So just getting that information, having that information, I think was nice. It was in Utah, and touring the lab that's studying CDH was interesting, and so yeah, just the information was a huge piece for me, and I'm really looking forward now that we're through our first year and have learned so many things about her that I'm ready for the next one that'll be next year. And to bring
Wow.
everything.
Yes, we would love to see you again, see how much Wilder's grown, seeing the whole family this time. She looks amazing. She really, really does. And it's incredible, you know, like what we heard in the last interview with Taylor when she said that these kids look so amazing on the outside, but the inside is so different. And and to look at Wilder, she looks so healthy and she's doing so great. But people don't know that on the inside she's had surgery and scar tissue, and some miracle workers helping her out to get her here, and a great mom too. So you're a great advocate for her, and you're doing a great job. You're a great job. Thank you so much for being here, Mandy. Thank you, Wilder, and I will talk to you soon, and I'll see you next year. All right.
Okay.
You have a good day.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye. And up next, we have another celebrity, and then we are going to talk to another CDH survivor, Lauren. And Lauren has a twist on her story, too. Don't you love all these twists? We're trying to make it as dramatic as possible in here to keep your attention so we can help these babies. All right. Rachel,